see like a battery. I'm staying charged on my feet, I'm like a factory. Dropping lines like an assembly. I'm staying on point, it's my strategy.
How you doing, guys? Welcome to ZukaTube, and today we're going to be reviewing a movie named Old Henry. So this movie came out, let's see, October 1st of 2021, and it's a Western, and I'm pretty into Westerns, and we haven't got a lot of them lately, especially like anything really cool to mention or review, so I'm excited to do this one. And this is pretty cool because the main guy, Tim Blake Nelson, I guess he's also like the producer and stuff on this. And the other guy who's like the villain of the story, this Steven Dorff guy, he's, he was in like the Blade movies and everything. You'll recognize him right away. But I'm going to play this trailer, then I'm going to go into a little summary and everything like that. I'll give you my review, play a few clips and everything, and we'll do some spoilers at the end. So let's get right into this trailer here.
Why'd you settle here?
Why'd you settle here?
Working the crops.
That's his son, Wyatt.
You'll discover there's worse around.
That's old Henry.
Paul's a good man, Wyatt.
I ain't him.
That's the brother-in-law, Al. Lives down the way.
You know I saw it.
Down the way.
I've done things I wish I could take back.
He has a hidden past, obviously.
Let's go look for the rider.
Now he's just an honest farmer. But he finds a guy and a bag full of money.
What do you think happened? Some kind of shootout?
Stay here and keep an eye on him.
Dang.
Who the hell are you?
My pa found you.
Well, go fetch him.
Won't you put my gun in my satchel? I don't know what you're talking
Oh, he
about.
goes after him.
You gotta think long and hard on what you got yourself into.
Funny, I was about to tell you the same thing.
Riders.
There's gonna be 3 of them. I'm Sheriff Sam Ketchum. We've been scouting for a man on the run. He's dangerous.
See, this is the dude from the Blade movies, that guy.
Your last name McCarty?
That's right.
First name?
Henry.
Why they didn't shoot you dead, I don't know. I got this crazy idea. There might be more to old Henry than meets the eye.
Some shaky old farmer?
He didn't hold that pistol like any farmer I've ever seen.
That's right.
What's going to happen will happen quick.
You got a lot of fight for a farmer.
You have no idea the hailstorm.
Damn, obviously, you see Al gets busted up. And obviously, you can see there's a fight that goes down here with all these guys.
Where'd you come from?
Every place on earth but this.
Who are you, Pa?
He's old Henry. That's who he is. So, the summary they got here listed for this is a quiet man and his son taking a wounded stranger near his homestead along with a bag full of cash. The stranger claims he's a sheriff being pursued by outlaws, but the man can't be sure. So obviously you can see that in the trailer, right? Because now this movie, right, it starts off and there's a man frantically running through the woods being chased, you know, shows the 3 men that they show in the trailer. And the one guy in the black that I was saying from Blade, this Steven Dorff guy, he plays a guy named Ketchum. Now, not in any relation, I believe, to Ash Ketchum later, who I guess becomes a cowboy of the Pokemon world. So, or maybe not. But either way, this guy, right, I like his character. And basically, he shoots this guy down in the distance and tortures him and tries to find where the other guy ran off to. Now, this other guy, who is obviously wounded and everything, is the guy that old Henry finds, right? And basically, this is now, Henry narrates a little bit in the beginning about growing up in New York, traveling all the way to Oklahoma territory in 1906, you know, bebopping around. It doesn't really explain what his past was, but now he's a farmer. And they show that scene from the trailer where it's him and his son and the brother-in-law. They're all working, doing farm work and everything. And Henry's wife, Marie, passed away from tuberculosis, right? And years back, right? And Wyatt's questioning Henry on why he would even come out there and choose this kind of life, right? And he got the land back when you could just go out and claim whatever you can find. It was a different kind of time at that point. So it seemed like a good, I guess, fresh start for a guy like Henry. And you see basically an unmanned horse in the distance, and they find blood on it, so they look for the rider. And this is where he finds the rider, and he's severely wounded with a satchel full of money. He decides to leave at first, but then turns around, grabs the guy in his gear, heads back home, right? And they decide to patch him up, and Wyatt questions him, because he's apparently covered in quite a bit of scars too, and it's not like you're not going to notice that your dad's got a bunch of scars all over his body type of deal. So there's that, right? And Henry hides his gear in the walls, and the son tries to spy on him, so he's on to him right away, super sus of his dad's previous history. And he's a nosy kid, He's eager to leave home, do his own kind of thing. He's fascinated with the whole outlaw on the run situation they got now with this guy. And Wyatt goes and finds the rider's gear while his dad leaves for a bit, and takes the revolver for some target practice, right? He finds a bunch of his dad's gear and potential links to him be involved in maybe some gunslinging, something like that, right? And Henry's out trying to find the three men hunting down the rider, and they almost catch him in the act, but he gets away, And now the rider gets loose, like you see in the trailer, and goes after the kid, but Henry knocks his ass out. They tie him up, interrogate him, and everything like that. They take a bullet out of him, and they kind of nurse him back to health, right? And the three men pull up, and the rider claims to be the law, and that they're looking for a guy. And they say, they're lawmen, and it seems like obviously they're sus, like they're criminals. And you could tell that in the trailer right away, right? And Henry talks with them and everything, but Henry doesn't know about them killing this other guy like we do. So obviously we already know they're bad guys in the story. And but he's got a big decision to make on who to trust, and temporarily just kind of drives them off in this situation, right? And they bring up the brother's farm down the way, and they talk like they've obviously scoped him out quite a bit. And Henry's clearly aware that these dudes are mad sus, right? And they'll be back. So before I get into any serious spoilers here, that kind of sets the whole scenario for what you see in the trailer, the gunslinging, all the different stuff, right? Now, I'm gonna say overall, I'd give this movie like a 7.5 out of 10. It's a pretty decent Western movie. The one thing I gotta say that I'm gonna go into obviously in the spoiler section after is that, I would have liked to have seen more direction, or more specific direction kind of shown to you in the way the kind of almost hopeful endings are in movies and everything like that. It's a really good ride. It's a really fun movie, some good action. I like kind of the stoic and cold nature of a character like Henry in a movie like this. It's just a lot of fun, and I like it. It's a good break too from a lot of like modern shit, So with that being said, let's get right into spoilers, because I got a few clips to play and everything. So let's get right into it. Spoilers. Okay. So again, like I said, 7.5 out of 10. I probably would have gave this like an 8.5 if it wasn't for how the ending kind of plays out here. But let me just get into it, right? Because after this whole situation, the men are deciding to hire guns, go back to Henry's, they get one of their guys to go scout, while the other two hired guns, are going to go stop by the brother's farm the next day, the whole deal, right? And Henry's questioning the man a bunch about where he's from to make sure he's really a lawman. And this rider, Sam, witnessed like Billy the Kid as a child and all kinds of stuff. And, he ends up getting set loose eventually by Henry, and Henry's going to basically use him for what he can to fight off these guys now. and everything like that, and give him back his money and all, because he's just trying to be honest and just kind of be out of this. But at the same time, he knows he might not make it out of this without some kind of altercation. So here's a little clip of them kind of chatting here. Now at this point, he's feeding him soup by hand.
How in the hell did you end up in Baxter Springs?
Well, like every other fool dreaming of easy riches and digging for 10. I realized there weren't none. Just a bunch of ghost stories about a mine near Smoky Hill River. Then I was broke. Work was hard to come by. I'm lucky Big Bill took a liking to me. I don't know what would have come of me. I'm sorry, I jumped your boy before. I woke up.
Obviously, he's trying to patch things up a little bit, you know, for overreacting and attacking the kid.
This looked like a hideout to you.
Because obviously that's
overheard what he said.
not the way to act. And you still see that Henry's a little bit of suspicious of him.
I'll give you one hand free. Don't make me take it off.
Yeah, so he obviously starts to loosen up on him and then eventually lets him go, because obviously he's going to need some help in this whole situation, right? And this guy's going to be redeeming his ass at least somewhat after putting him in all this kind of trouble, too, on top of it, right? And so he sets him loose, right? And that night, basically, the one scout goes in for the kill anyway and doesn't listen to his orders. And they get into a little bit of an altercation there. The son gets grazed in the crossfire, and then the rider Sam gets shot again, basically, right? It's ridiculous. But then in epic fashion, Henry whoops his ass and shoots him and then chokes him to death, and the son sees. And the son is like having a hard time trusting or respecting his dad, and they get in an argument because he won't be honest about his past, right? And then the two men pay a visit, obviously, to the brother, torture him, and then bring him back with them. And the men in the hired guns show up at Henry's before they can kind of flee. So obviously they're getting into a gunfight one way or another. And let's just show you a little clip of this initial gunfight because it's really cool.
Smart choice, friend.
Tranquilo. Es demasiado tarde para eso.
¿Eso crees?
Lo sé, amigo.
What's he saying?
Epic gunfight stuff going on right here. You can see, obviously, he shoots that dude right in his fucking face, man. The leader, right off the jump, like, goes for it.
Don't you dare step outside.
Yep. Dang, look at that. Boom, got him. Okay, so, like, it's a pretty epic little fight here, right? And they reveal with some flashbacks that Sam has that Henry is really Billy the Kid, who actually got away years and years ago and didn't die, like he thinks he had saw when he was a young child. So here's a little clip of that here.
Now keep your damn head down. You'll be all right.
Keep your head down. You'll be all right.
Phone, Kenny on the porch. Caroline in the house.
See, and he's remembering now. Remembering the voice saying that when he was young.
When you were speaking Spanish to him. But he didn't kill you. He helped you escape. You're him.
You're him.
He's who?
And the son's like, who is he, man? Come on, somebody clue me in here.
Oh, what is he talking about?
Bam, and you see it right there. So, yep, that's the big reveal there at the end, which is really cool little reveal there for the whole movie. And it's kind of like an epic story because they do kind of hint that this, like, you know, Henry McCarty, like old McCarty, like is still like a suspicious potential dude from like the gunslinging time a few years back. And they hint at that, but then they kind of throw a twist in there that no, this is actually Billy the Kid. So whoever the rumors are about old McCarty was technically, you know, Billy the Kid later on in his later years, I guess. So that's a cool little reveal here. And you can see they obviously show how epic his shooting ability is and everything in the gunfight. Like, check this awesome scene out.
Déjame ir. Te quedes con el dinero.
Suelta tu funda. Ahora.
¿Me vas a llevar?
Al sheriff. Así es.
Él no me preocupa.
Dang. Check that out. And then boom, right through the eye. Like epic stuff, right? And then obviously he gets in a big last minute showdown with the leader because the leader's still alive. He got shot right through his mouth. So it was like through one cheek, out the other cheek. You know, he shoots Henry. They go have a little showdown and everything like that. And then Henry ends up shooting him down. And then, while kind of helping Sam out, because the rider Sam's still alive, he sees the mark of the gang on him. And then, boom, Sam shoots him and is about to die. And then Wyatt comes in, shoots Sam, kills him. And here's where I have the problem, right? Because at the end, he confesses that and like has this heartfelt moment with his son and then dies. And they show the son like burying the dad, tending to the farm, and then kind of heading out to see the land and live out a new life. But I would have liked to have seen a little more direction on what inspires him from that moment. Does it inspire him to go the opposite direction of his father and steer away from that? Or they should have hinted that maybe he would lead into some gunslinging or an unavoidable situation where maybe he has to become like his father. Or if it hinted something like the opposite, like maybe he was going to go and just kind of seek out a new life, a new day and age, away from that kind of thing, away from farm life, away from, you know, the kind of bandit, you know, lifestyle, just maybe city life somewhere or something. Who knows? Who knows what they were going to do? But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more direction on that because the way the ending was set up was really cool. I just didn't I didn't like the potential they showed, right? I didn't think it was enough. But otherwise, like, I thought it was a cool movie pretty much all the way through. Like, fairly average, you know, like you generally know the story from watching the trailer and everything like that. But everything was done really well. I liked it. The characters were cool. You know, it didn't really need any kind of epic music or anything like that. It was just like an enjoyable Western. So with that being said, again, 7.5 out of 10. Definitely check this out. if you're into westerns and everything like that, there's not a lot to pick from. So I'm sure if you're into it, you've probably heard of this or seen the trailer. If you have seen this movie, let me know what you think. But again, 7.5 out of 10. Old Henry, Zookatube, out.
My brother, can you shout me? You're barking up the wrong tree. My dog, why do you doubt me? 'Cause you can't do shit without me.
Real like the radio and never play it, but that's cool. The enemy's supposed to hate it.